Hi everybody, LeBron James here. Today, we're talking about two movies. Let's go. Spoilers, go watch the movie. This one's good. I like this one. This new squad, the Suicide Squad, is yet another film that DC has made that serves as a redo to a worse movie. This is the second time this has happened. There are multiple examples of this now. Wow. This film was, by far, a major improvement of the original Suicide Squad back in 2016. For this one, I can even say this was entertaining and fun and pleasant. Did I have issues with the movie? Yes, of course. We can get into that in a little bit. First, let's talk about the good. The movie had likable characters that I ended up emotionally connecting to. They did a much better job actually giving character to these characters. It's not only that they were likable, but it's also that they had interesting arcs and changes that some of them go through that made me more engaged to the story. So that by the end of the movie, when they were fighting Patrick Starfish, I was emotionally hooked. My favorite of the crew was Ratcatcher and Strong Shark. I liked their dynamic that they had. And come on, that rat was adorable. With the little leaf, oh, I liked the Polka Dot Man. The comedic moments about his trauma with his mom, they were really funny, as well as serving a smooth development for your character. I thought it was pretty cool and I thought it worked really well. While there are some likable characters, I don't think they all were. Some of the acting from certain individuals was not great, which I think mostly came from bad dialogue.
But if this whole beach was completely covered in dicks, and somebody said I'd eat every dick until the beach was clean for liberty, I would say no problemo.
I really didn't like the scene with the president guy, as well as thinking the interrogation scene was kind of lame. Through it all, I still liked Harley Quinn and her character, and I really liked the action scenes with the cartoons. I thought it was very creative. The only character I really didn't like was John Cena! His character felt the most inconsistent, and spoilers, it was extremely obvious what they were going to do with his character. Of course he would turn bad by the end of the movie. You gotta have that twist somewhere. The violence was noticeably graphic and served for both humor as well as shock value. There were some instances of creative and engaging action pieces that were just setups for jokes. Cool thing about it is that it works for both occasions. And while some worked, not all of the action was clean. There was one scene in particular, the scene with the freedom fighters. I thought that looked very sloppy. I understand a lot of it was meant for laughs, but the choreography didn't work for me at all. It looks really clumsy. Alright, let's talk about the beginning of the movie. I don't think the first scene of the movie stuck the landing as well as it thought it did. It was clear the goals of the scene was trying to be subversive and make a statement like, oh, we're killing off the old characters, we're killing off the old film. I get it, I like it, but it was way too obvious what was going to happen well before it happened. I wish they made little changes to that scene. It doesn't work when you try to make a scene where the goal is to pull the rug from under the viewer and then just like give it away well before the scene happens. It's like, oh no, everyone's dying, but they were betting on it like the scene before. That being said, I still really enjoyed the experience, and I would probably watch this again in the future. Even though I'm giving this one a 5, it didn't mean I hated it. I liked it. Ratings are arbitrary. Who cares? Yep to the next movie. Old. Again, spoilers, but let's face it, this is a movie you can skip. This movie was stinky from the very beginning. The acting was atrocious. Even from actors that I love in other amazing films, they do a really bad performance here. Throughout the entire film, the premise is held as a secret, not to be fully understood by anybody, even though the marketing had nothing but the premise to sell. So there you go. Good job. What's hilarious about this film is the mental gymnastics that these characters go through. It's really quite a sight to see. They sit around going like, hey, what's happening here? What's going on? And then like 2 seconds later, they understand and explain exactly what's happening right to the audience. That's what I call great writing.
Knight wrote a great script.
One of the biggest plot points for the movie is that the main characters have medical problems. Every character written only has either that one trait given to them or no traits at all. This one's the iron deficient one that cares about her look. This one's growing up too fast. This person's a plank of wood. This really shows that this was a concept first kind of film that felt very rushed and not well thought out. The one thing I could say I liked about this movie is that it was very entertaining. I at least, laughed quite a bit during the whole movie. I am so glad I didn't watch the trailer because there are specific scenes that I couldn't believe with my eyes. The one scene that left me traumatized was the pregnant scene. That scene sucker punched me left hook out of nowhere. And then later on on, I learned it was completely spoiled by the trailer. Seeing all the older actors try to play someone who's supposed to be like young mentally was really funny. The cringe was real. I wanted my face to implode. It was really weird how this movie kind of changed tonally into a monster body horror. It had a real clumsy change to it. I think it's safe to say that this movie is a confusing mess in terms of tone.
This was a nightmare of logistics.
The movie takes itself very seriously, but then also tries to add humor, like a character's name being mid-sized sedan, like that's his name. But the movie plays it too straight. It's weird. It doesn't make sense. It confuses me. Even though it was an entertaining movie, it doesn't offer anything else outside of it. The story is ridiculous. The escape from the island was very lazy, very unsatisfying. Also, side note, the twist of the movie was probably the worst twist out of all of M. Night Shyamalan's films. The characters literally give it away in the middle of the movie. Like someone says it verbatim. And by the end, there's like this reveal. Like, yeah, this person said it. It just didn't work at all, for me at least. It was an interesting hour and a half, but I'm never going back to this film ever again. This one's easily a light 3 out of 10. That's all, folks.
She just died.
Wait, where are the kids?
Trent!
Kara!
Come here!
Hey, have you seen my children?
Mom? I'm right here.